Now for a movie rant break, One Up presents a movie rant break. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Movie Rant Break. Today I got a super awesome episode. I have a returning guest who is not in the studio today with us, but is a always welcome guest. Was just on a couple episodes ago. We got John Smith back on the show.
Hey, you already know what it is. I'm here. Let's go.
Hey, so today we're going to get right into it, and we're going to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Give me your first thoughts, go.
My first thoughts are phenomenal. I mean, honestly, I haven't. It's so funny. I think the first thing that popped in my head when I walked out of the cinema was like, superhero fatigue is not real. Like, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
This is, we are in bad movie fatigue, and they just got lazy because that's the only reason why people couldn't stand watching all this Marvel content. I mean, that movie was so good. I could watch it 100 times. The emotional roller coaster it puts you on, and but also the fun. And honestly, the thing that jumped out at me right away and got me locked in is that scene with the tank was some of the coolest flipping through the city Spider-Man scenes I think I've ever seen in any cinematic version of Spider-Man. So yeah, there's just a lot of good, dude. A lot of good, not a lot of bad.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on what you were saying, like, originality comes to mind when you're talking about some things you just said. And I going into it, I was excited because it looked like they were going to keep it more humble with the storyline, bringing Spider-Man back to his roots of street-level crime and being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man where no one knows who he is, because he's always battling that dynamic in comics, the cartoon, the 90s cartoon. Like, no one really knows who he is, and he has to kind of, like, deal with this alone. And they actually have a beautiful line at the end of the movie where Peter Parker says, you can't do it alone, when he's talking to Jean Grey, spoiler, and he goes, I know, I've been trying and you can't.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's such a poetic, amazing line, because it's such a long journey for him to get to this point, to kind of restart the franchise almost,
right,
and kind of just move forward in a brand new day, in a type of sense. And then that was just like kind of like the cherry on top, I thought, that just really exemplified where the character was. And it like was really an evolution of the character, and just, yeah, really fucking great movie. Like,
dude,
fuck yeah.
I mean, yeah. And honestly, dude, like, even just kind of like giving a breakdown, like a brief breakdown.
Yeah, you get a brief breakdown.
Even a brief breakdown, like, it's funny. You see the trailer and you think, okay, he's going to be fighting all these things. They show so much in the trailer that makes you have all these theories about what the movie's going to be like. And like, all of that is the first 10 minutes, if not less, 5
100%.
Minutes, right?
Love that.
And it's so cool because it keeps you on your toes. So like, yeah, it gives you kind of this rundown of like this 4-year time skip of his friends going away to college, and like his just like pretty much like a quick snapshot of what he was doing over that time frame. But that's just not what the story's about. And that's so fun because it gives you it while also not making it just all about trying to put it back at the street level, right? It's cool. And from there, it takes you on this cool journey where, you know, he's trying to figure out why there's people getting, you know, their mind taken over. And that's some of that is,
they say possessed,
yeah,
which is cool, because you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, and some of that is in the trailer as well. But like, that's where the theories of Jean Grey came in. One of the trailers definitely showed some of that. But it's just wild that like it took you in this whole different direction than you were expecting just from seeing the trailer.
Yeah, and see, like, I naturally try to stay away from trailers if a movie looks of interest, and I had no fucking idea what was going to happen in this movie, and like, I was locked in the whole movie, and I think that's attributing to like what you said, which is at the beginning of the movie, it's that first 10 minutes, it's not like a force down your throat breakdown, or just not a montage, but just scenes of him fighting crime. It shows Tombstone in there, Scorpion, and it just kind of catches you up to date to what's happened since the Multiverse of Madness, or what the fuck was it? Not that. what the fuck's the name of the movie? The third Spider-Man movie, No Way Home.
No Way
with,
Home.
with fucking Doctor Strange. That movie is fucking convoluted and retarded, but they did such a great amendment on getting to where they got here, and yeah, just like great pacing. Like I was just so fucking locked in. Like I was like, what's next? Like what's next? And I had no idea with this Jean Grey shit. So when they had the text of Jean Elaine Grey, I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is like something I've never seen before or heard of. Maybe there is some storylines like this. I'm not a comic guy. So I love how they went with so original of a storyline that also introduced an X-Men character in a different way. It's like a young Jean Grey before she gets to link up with X-Men and Professor X and or the X-Mansion and shit. And I just thought it was it was very amazing. I as a fan of Spider-Man and X-Men, that's always been like my priviness to Marvel characters. And so to have them in the same movie and the way they did it so eloquently, it was like, fuck yeah. Dude.
Yeah, and
fuck yeah.
And I'm glad that you nodded when I said it was emotional because I'm going through some shit in my life right now, as you know. I'm going through some shit, so I was like at the brink of like breaking down in tears, the like damn near whole movie, and I'm just like, is this me? Like, am I just losing my mind right now because I'm going through a lot? But I just felt like that the emotional like impact it had on you in so many scenes. Where it's like,
absolutely,
it's giving you like it just proves to me that look, we've gotten the Thor: Love and Thunders and the Ant-Man Quantumanias, and we've gotten all these really, really, really subpar movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe
and shows.
And that just don't give you anything. You feel nothing when you walk in, you feel nothing during it, and you feel nothing when you walk out. And the fact that they can take this character, and honestly, the other thing that I think stands out to me is that they've done such a good job at making Spider-Man's films work with one another. Like, you really don't need to go watch any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe outside of his films, and they work for the most part, right? Now, granted, you get a lot of like other characters, Iron Man and the Punisher and the Hulk in this one and all that stuff, but still, it's like you could enjoy it just by watching those through, and I think that's a feat in and of itself. But yeah, it brings you on a ride, man, because you know these characters, you've been with them for so long, and you know what kind of pain he's feeling at all times with all the different things he's going through, and it really really hits home, and it's kind of crazy that you can feel that amount of feelings in a superhero movie, you know.
Absolutely, and on the tip of incorporation of extra characters and storylines prior to this film, I thought, coincidentally, with what you're saying, it's a great standalone movie because, like, what the Hulk is, Punisher. They didn't like. You knew it was the Punisher, but if you didn't know that it was the Punisher, it didn't matter. You knew it was an affiliate that he had, and that made it cool. And then like all the other introduction of characters, they kind of like develop them freshly, and they catch you up enough where it is a good standalone movie. And I think that's what makes this movie even better, is because and I think that's what makes any movie great. If it is a part of a trilogy or whatever, or of a saga, the standalone movie, if it can stand alone, that attributes to a lot of its
big time,
its charm.
Big time, yeah. And I think it does that with flying colors. And but yeah, to have 4 movies that have come out for Spider-Man and in this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and to have them work so well with one another and give you the backstory that you would want with characters, but not feel like you got to do a bunch of homework to go watch it and enjoy it. Like, that to me, I think is what impresses me the most. But I mean, there's so much to be impressed about this movie. I'm just so happy, dude. It's like, I never want to say the MCU's back because they get lazy as soon as they get some kind of a hit on their hands. And at this point, I think you're just kind of, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst, right? I think this movie looked good from just the trailers, and that was exciting, but you just never know, right? They could poop themselves like they have so many other times. But with Doomsday coming up, it feels like I really hope that they don't just go back to being absolute shit right after they just made this, because it's like you got to maintain the quality. If this is the route you're going, you got to maintain it,
Which is going to be a feat if they can. I think they can because of, and I want to talk about this later, but we'll just talk about it now, I guess. But just like the introduction of X-Men appropriately, and I think Deadpool and Wolverine is another movie that got me. I I was really excited about that movie, but I think I'm more excited about this movie. And like, I'm gonna bring this up again, but I think this is arguably the best MCU movie that we've ever had. Which
It's
is
definitely up there, dude. And the thing about Deadpool and Wolverine, and this again, you with the interconnected cinematic universe, the way the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, you have other movies will impact how much you like other movies, right? It's the same thing with Star Wars. Like, I think The Force Awakens on a standalone was really good, but then when you slap it with The Last Jedi, it's like, wow, The Force Awakens sucks, right? And Deadpool and Wolverine came right in the middle of shit, right? So it was like, oh, everything's good, and then it got shitty right afterwards again. And so you never got a real feeling of like, oh, that movie stands the test of time because it gets so tarnished from what came after. Even the Infinity Saga gets some of that heat, right? Like, the Infinity Saga could be something that I rewatched 100 times over if I wanted to because I liked it so much. But since they've put out films afterwards and the quality has gotten so much worse, it becomes difficult to even go back and enjoy that the same way that I could have, you know? So it's like you got to maintain, and that's what's most important.
100%. And I think that's what makes like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter such great bodies of work. It's they've done spin-offs and stuff, but like I think they're such strong, and that's what I think when people want to ever compare like the MCU to like those franchises. I don't think they have shit on them like for like film wise. Like, yeah, they have some good ones, but like they pretty much it's a different conversation, I guess. But
yeah, it's a different achievement, right? Like the
yes.
MCU achieved 30, 40 movies or whatever it was, like 20 something movies that all were at a pretty high quality, interconnected, right? So like it is talking apples and oranges, but yeah, you when it comes to putting together like a 4-movie series, for example, right? I think the Spider-Man 4-movie series is actually pretty darn good if you put it all together, right? And you watch them back to back to back. That's what impresses me.
Yeah, and the other thing I think in that conversation with talking about the predecessors to this film with Spider-Man, I think this one is far superior to the other three. The other three, I'll bring this up again later. I didn't pull your, I don't know what your all scores would be for each film, and you could think about it during the episode if you can. But like Spider-Man Homecoming, I gave it 6.5. Spider-Man Far From Home, I gave it 6.8. And Spider-Man No Way Home, I gave it 7.2. Intro to the Spider-Verse, I gave it 8.4. And then this film, you'll see. But this film was far superior to any of those ones. Like the No Way Home, it had a lot of fan service. It was cool and entertaining, but like as a standalone movie, is like it doesn't because you have all this stuff that you have interwoven from like fucking all the other Spider-Man movies that were made over the past, you know what I mean? And it's kind of a cheaper movie in my opinion. Was it like fun and interesting at times? Yeah, like I don't own it. I don't own any of the other three. I think the first one originally, and then it was just like, fuck this. I didn't really care where they were going with it, but this whole brand new day is a whole brand new feeling with how I feel about the direction of Spider-Man and X-Men. So just hats off to them. It's fucking sick.
I mean, for me, I really liked Homecoming. I thought it was really good for what it was. It was what it was, and I thought it was really good. Yeah. So I would give it a higher score than you gave it. I think Far From Home was probably the weakest of all of them for sure, but that happens in especially a 4-movie series. And then I thought No Way Home was phenomenal. Again, I think it gets hurt by what happened around it. There was a lot of things that I felt it was setting up for that were not set up or not fulfilled in later pieces of work. Like Loki came out right afterwards, and you thought Loki was going to have some kind of connection to what happened at the end of Spider-Man, and same thing with Quantumania and all this, but it just none of it connected, and it was just that hurt it. But I thought as for what it was phenomenally entertaining and still emotionally heartstrings, right? Like it pulls your heartstrings the same way this one did in ways, but this one did it 10 times better than that. I think this was definitely the best out of all of them. It's kind of not a question. I'm just really impressed.
I was impressed. It was a relief too. I had a good feeling going into this, and because despite some of our conversations, like I think there has been some promising displays of film the past year or so, like a couple pieces of work. We don't see eye to eye on some of those, and I think this was like another instance where I was like, yeah, see, they are trying to enhance the films that they're doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think
like
they realize
this was. No, go ahead. They
No,
realized
I think they realize it. I think you're hitting it on the head, and they said that. I mean, think about it. When was the last MCU movie that came out? The Marvels? Is that the last one? Or no, Deadpool? No, which one was it?
one of them, Fantastic Four,
Okay, Fantastic Four. But that was still
which was that
almost
was
2 years
okay.
ago, right?
It was a minute. I think it was last year. It was last year.
Yeah. So I mean, they're back on the same kind of trend they were before they launched Disney Plus and started putting something out every single week, and it was like, yeah, now it's more of like quality over quantity, and that's what I think Bob Iger or whatever said they wanted to focus on, is doing more quality over quantity, and that's good because I think that's exactly what this cinematic universe needs, and the studio itself. I mean, this movie's going to be a smash, dude. It's probably going to
It's
come
gonna
close to $1
crush.
billion. I mean,
Oh, definitely a billion. Definitely
like
a billion.
if it doesn't blow right by it, and this is huge to show this is what we want. And there's so much stuff that they did when it come to like listening to fans. Like a perfect example is like the biggest mistake I think they've made and been criticized about over and over and over again is how they've handled Banner's Hulk, right? How he's just always been so small and not really Hulk-esh and underpowered, et cetera, et cetera. Like they made him the man in this movie. Like that was super cool. He was holding up a whole building on two legs. You know what I mean? Like that was pretty cool. And just how big he got and green.
Yeah, he makes a note of it. He's like, I don't remember you getting this big.
Yeah, for real.
Did you think that Hulk stopping his rampage from Peter saying he was Peter and was his friend, and being able to have a recollection of him was counter to the whole spell that took place? Because MJ in the next scene says she can't recall anything and there's nothing there, but Hulk could remember something? Or do you think MJ was suppressing and trying to, because she told him to come upstairs and meet Ned. So like, do you think there was something deep inside people of their minds that felt something? Because
I think they inferred that the whole movie, right? The whole movie they were inferring that like MJ was convinced.
Because Ned knew the handshake. So okay, so that makes sense with like the Hulk being able to stop his rampage and MJ being open minded and Ned knowing the handshake. Okay,
yeah, and the spell was to forget Peter Parker. It wasn't eliminate everything that ever happened in their life that revolved around Peter Parker. So when things puzzle pieces start connecting, where it's like this feels familiar, but it's not a memory, but it's like there. I think that's where they went with it, and not that, but. The Hulk is not even from this world. His brain didn't even get affected by it. Like, let's be real. Like, he's like just completely separate. It's like Bruce Banner, and then like the Hulk is just whatever he is.
Fair. It's like a random side thing when you talk about invoking emotion in this movie. One thing for me that I saw in a couple different scenes is the time of year that it was. There was foliage. And I don't know if it's like a northeastern thing or just anyone like a northerner that would maybe have more of a affinity or a reaction to seeing foliage. But like when the Hulk and Spider-Man are falling from the building, you could see the foliage down below on the trees. Yeah. Like when he goes to the cemetery, there was some foliage. There's just a little bit of foliage speckled throughout the film, and I assume it's on purpose. And it definitely affected the tone of the film and just made it more gritty and just like real life. I don't know how to fully articulate it, but I just liked it. I was like, I like seeing this foliage. It's making it feel more immersive to me or something. I don't know. It's just a side note that I wanted to address.
I feel that. To me,
you noticed it.
Noticed that too? They were. I would say to encompass that thought in a broader sense is they're very deliberate and they focused their attention on detail. And that's where the MCU's been missing. I mean, how many movies have we just seen filmed in a big green screen for the entire thing, and you just don't feel any sense of realism anywhere, and you don't get any detail because everything's just a big CGI blob, right? It's like you actually felt like the New York was lived in. Like even the sequence after the movie ended where they just showed random shots of New York, right? When the credits started rolling. That's not normal for an MCU movie. It's like usually we're getting some quippies or fun or whatever, something that's, especially other Spider-Man movies, it's always like been the classroom with the scribbles and stuff popping up and whatever. This was something that felt just real. It was like, oh, you're just feeling the streets of New York and what that feels like. And that's just rare for these movies. And I think it made a huge impact. And that goes along with what you were saying about feeling the time of year. They were intentional, right? And they weren't just doing things to do them. They were doing them because they knew what they wanted and they had a clear belief of their vision and they put it to fulfillment, right? And that's not easy. So credit.
Yeah, and to all that what you're saying, it's like I felt this movie just had a more intimate, real feel to it with Spider-Man and just all the problems in his life with his identity, losing his previous life and trying to regain his life and just all these underlying tones and just real life things and just the way that they shot the film. It was just it was cinema, you know, it was a picture, you know,
Big time.
And it also incorporated a decent amount of laughs, but it wasn't overly heavy handed with it. Like, which was more real life. It's not like quippy every fucking 3 scenes. There's like 3 quips.
Well, they didn't undercut emotional moments either. Like that's the biggest problem that Marvel's had is they're so scared to put people in a place where they feel something because the second they do, they're like, oh, we got to make a joke and move on. And this movie let you sit in those moments and live in those moments and feel those moments. Even the moment towards the end where Jean Grey's sitting with his aunt, right? And they're having...
What the fuck is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They're having that conversation. Yeah. That's a moment in a MCU movie you rarely get. Like last time I can remember something like that is like, I don't know, Infinity War or something, right? Where you really feel the pain someone's feeling and you get to live in an emotional moment that may not just be all fun and games. And that made Jean Grey feel like a real character, not just like a fake villain that you just plop there to just be bad, right? You give no kind of real life feeling towards that character. And I feel like they did a great job at letting you sit in those emotional moments and feel them, you know?
Yeah, that moment and I love how they made it like a long corridor into a room that was just like it was like a long rectangle room basically, which is like going into someone's mind, you know? It was really cool how they shot that and depicted it. And that scene that's like an original moment within it that lives inside of his mind, correct? There's something from I don't recall that dialogue.
No, we never saw that.
Which is kind of like, I think it was when you talk about emotion and stuff, I think that was maybe my depiction of it was the part of Aunt May that always was there to support him in his mind and then was there to support Jean Grey. Which is like really cool because she didn't have a mother. So then and neither does Peter. So then in that moment of going into his mind, she went to like that moment where like Peter in his most neediest moment neediest moment, he has Aunt May there to give him insight and support him and build him up to remind him who he is and to be the best person he can be. And then Jean Grey tapped into that because, like I said, she doesn't have a mother and stuff, so she just really empathized with that whole moment. And I think face value, people might not fully pick up on that, but I think that's what that's supposed to embody, and I think that's
too,
really cool.
Yeah, it's for real. It's multi-layered in so many ways. It's even like the layer of showing why Jean Grey and Peter Parker would have an affinity towards one another because they've gone through the same struggles and they both have the same feeling of being special but being alone, and that somehow connects them in this way that most other movies would just skip over and just be like, oh, they would make it so surface level. Oh, I'm alone too, and you're alone. Well, I'm here for you.
See you next movie.
And then,
see you next movie.
Yeah, exactly. But they let you actually have a real reason as to why they made this connection that she hadn't found. She could be in as many people's brains as she wants, but who else can relate to her as much as Spider-Man can in the sense of had people in their life that they loved that they lost, being alone, but being so powerful at the same time and special and different. That did connect the characters, and this was a way to be able to show it, not tell us, right? And that's what it's all about, is showing, not telling. This movie did a phenomenal job at showing, not telling.
Yeah, they totally did. And like I said, in that multi-layered dynamic with her feeling and being able to lean on that memory of what Aunt May is in Peter's mind is dope. And I think, you know, when you're talking about keeping things under wraps and stuff and just showing, not telling, I thought even just in general, like the way that they promoted the film, they did a good job kind of misdirecting people and then keeping a good veil over who the villain was. They showed a bunch of villains, but they weren't like the villains. And I was trying to figure out who the villain was the whole film, and then, like I said, that whole Jean Elaine Grey text came up, and I just love the creative direction they went with that. But then, because it's very different,
Yeah, and that's
I
cool
don't
for
know.
you. I knew exactly because I watched so many breakdown videos
Yeah,
on
see,
the
I don't.
trailer.
No.
So like, yeah, it's a different experience if that you get hit from that from a blind side. But most people probably would because people don't really consume media like I do, in the sense of like doing that extra 15, 20 steps before a movie comes out. So yeah, that turn of events, knowing it was Jean Grey, must have been really fucking cool for you.
Dude, it was crazy. The person I went to was like, "Oh shit," and we were both like, "Oh fuck, that's so dope."
Yeah.
Because they like X-Men too, so they knew who that was, and they were like, "That's fucking fire."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so she was like the villain for the movie, which is so unexpected, and then ended up being the damage control department, which I think is a real department in the government, and they are usually people that are shady anyways.
I don't know if it's in the real government. It's been in the movies since Homecoming. So as soon as after Avengers like 1, where the invasion of New York, Damage Control popped up and started clearing up all the alien mess.
Okay, it's fictional.
So it's been in the MCU for a very long time though, since Avengers 1. So like that's when it was conceived, right? So it is something that is a through line for sure.
And yeah, like I wonder, what would you compare it to, like in the real world?
I mean, it's
Like
hard.
for
It's literally there to be able to monitor and pick up the mess of super powered individuals. So I guess it doesn't really have a correlation in the real world, but
something military based, like some. I mean, I think there is damage control departments, like this is like the military and maritime damage controllers, corporate and public relations damage control. So there is medical damage control. There are. Let me see. I don't know if these are like organizations. Nah, they're not organizations. I'm tripping. It's more of like a phrase to describe, like, which obviously I know that, but I thought there are some sort of correlations with some of these fucking government what do you want to call them, organizations. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I guess it made sense.
Well, we've seen a lot of it across other superhero movies that aren't in the MCU. Like, even in the old X-Men movies, there was always a department trying to capture the X-Men or mutants and test them and test on them and all that. And it's always been these like government agencies that are looking to try to find ways to be able to use this superpowered abilities to the military's advantage, right? It's a common through line through most of these movies. But it's cool that they've kept damage control around this long because, like I said, Homecoming is the first time I remember seeing it, which was when they were cleaning up the mess. And that's where, I don't know if you remember, but the Vulture got all his stuff because he was cleaning up New York, and then damage control came in and was like, hey, we're taking over the cleanup. And he still had leftover stuff that he had found that they didn't know about, and that's how he started making all of his gear. Vulture did in Homecoming. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, cool. I think that Jean Grey's outburst that she does in the film, I wonder if that's how Professor X is going to like, catch wind of her. He'll be like, oh, who did that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that'll be the moment where he's able to locate her and is like, oh, and then brings her in. Because she takes over, was it all Staten Island or something? She, like, controls everyone's mind and, like, freezes them.
It wasn't Staten Island. I just think it was an island in the middle of the base, something that had a military base on it or something. But it's one of those things where the question is there even a Professor X in this universe? Like,
Of course.
I don't know.
There's no X-Men without Professor X.
I mean,
I know.
The first Deadpool did reference the school, and the first Deadpool was in this universe, correct? So, or was it in X? No, it was in the X-Men universe, but then we don't know.
There's no X-Men without Professor X. Though.
Sorry, yeah, no, that was in the X-Men universe. So we haven't seen any signs of the Professor X or his mansion in the Earth 616. Like, that doesn't exist yet. So if they're going to make it exist, it's going to get sprung up out of nowhere before Doomsday. But Doomsday might reset everything and create a new timeline. And from there, not Doomsday, but probably Secret Wars. And then there's a new timeline with now mutants and whatnot. I have a feeling that's probably where it's going to go. But yeah, I don't think there's a Professor X in 616, dude.
Dude, there can't be X-Men without Professor X.
I don't know. We haven't seen it.
It's X-Men. Professor X.
Well, there's been no reference to X-Men in Earth 616.
Well, yeah. Also, that's what I'm saying. Like this whole thing with Jean Grey is different because I think in the main storyline with Jean Grey linking up with Professor X, she's a kid and she controls her parents' mind or something. Like they get in a car accident or something and they die. She accidentally kills her parents, and then so he gets her at a young age, then suppresses her powers in her mind till she's more mature and then can use them.
I remember
So
that.
so like she's a teen, like a older teenager in this, that out of orphan care or not orphan care. What do you call it?
Foster care.
Foster care. So I like the different direction. I think it's open for a lot of interpretation and just like whatever they want to do could like work and just do it fresh and interesting. Because I don't know if there's going to be some purists with this depiction of Jean Grey and be like, oh, this is not what her thing should be. But I, as a big fan of X-Men, I think it's dope and it was tastefully done. So
That's what comics are all about, is creating new stories with the same characters, right? Like that's what it's done for the history of time. And the MCU's always done that with its story, where they loosely follow along with comic book lines or stories, but it's never been exact. So I mean, you just got to own it. I do want to say, like, if I wanted to point to one thing, I've already mentioned it, but if I wanted to point to one thing that I think was one of the most standout moments I've seen in almost any Marvel movie of all time, is the sequence of him flipping through New York at the beginning, right when the tank was coming. I have not felt that real of a experience as if I was Spider-Man flying through the city as I had in this movie. It's just never felt that way. I've watched every Spider-Man film that's ever come out, and I just never felt like they depicted it as good as they did here. And I was so impressed that it made me sit back in my seat and be like, oh, I'm here for this. Like, that put me in the movie more than anything else that had happened. And I just love shit like that. If you can innovate something that's been happening for the last decade, 3, 4 decades, 5 decades, whatever it's been, right? If you can depict it in a new way that makes it fun and different, but also just really cool, you're doing something special at that point.
yeah. Did you see it in IMAX? Right?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Because I'm sure that whole sequence
It was in laser. It's still big, but not IMAX.
Yeah, I think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever made. And I do think it might be the best MCU movie ever made too. Like, and you can argue with it, it's fine. Just for me personally, being a big fan of X-Men and Spider-Man, those are, like I said, my biggest affinity towards as far as characters are concerned. And I'm like so all in right now with the direction of it. Like, I'm hyped to see what they're going to do with it. And like with Doomsday, I'm going to reserve expectations because I don't know what they're doing with that. But I fuck with what they're doing with Spider-Man and X-Men, and that's what I'm here for. I don't really care about Doomsday. Hopefully it's a fun movie. I know X-Men are in it, which is cool, but they might kill him off. Maybe they keep one or two. I don't know. Like, I think it'd be cool if they kept Gambit. I mean, I thought Channing Tatum was cool as Gambit. But
I just hope they killed Shang-Chi.
But he was kind of.
I fucking hate Shang-Chi.
He fights Gambit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
Is that what you thought of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a big Lord of the Rings fan, by the way.
Is he?
You might like him if you saw this interview. They asked him. They go, who was the biggest
inspiration?
No, not inspiration. The biggest who were you most starstruck from working from on Doomsday? And he's like, Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I bet.
Because he's like, yo,
that's Gandalf.
Speaking
of Gandalf, Gandalf quote in this movie. I don't know if you picked that up.
I might have said it. What was it?
It was when he was chilling with Ned as Spider-Man, and he was like, I said something about like I just might have nudged him out of the door. That sequence. I forgot the whole quote, but it was a Gandalf quote.
Okay, fair enough. I might have caught it. It was when they freaked out when they were sitting at like around at MJ's apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I couldn't catch the reference, but I knew it was some Gandalf reference. Fair. Yo, the one thing that at first I didn't know how I liked it when it was happening in the movie was the whole it got really techie and genetic term or attempted to be. I don't know how accurate the genetic talk is and stuff.
When he was talking to Bruce.
When he was talking to Bruce with the hormone suppression, it seemed a little extra and like word salady, and that whole situation, like it made more sense later because it was an integral part of the story. And then I liked how it helped Banner and Jean Grey suppress their powers. And it, at the end of the day, I was like, even if it didn't, it's like, go nuts. I guess it's a superhero movie. It's Spider-Man. Like, these are the type of movies I'll give a little liberty to get a little nerdy or try to get sciencey on it, you know what I mean, and just get funky with it, I guess.
I mean, especially when you have the two minds, right? Like Bruce Banner and Peter Parker are supposed to be two of the smartest people in all of like comics, right? If you put them up against some other people, their intellect is supposed to be next level, and so seeing them talk to one another like that just makes sense. And it was cool because you could kind of see Bruce being like, I don't believe a word this guy's saying when it comes to being a student here and a grad student. Like, who is this? What is he talking about? And then he's like, you just see right through it, which I thought was so funny because it's like, yeah, who is this kid talking to me about this and why does he care, you know?
Yeah, he kept using the name Maynard. Like, why?
Like,
why did
nerd?
Like, why? Like, when he introduces himself to Ned and MJ, he's like, I'm Maynard. I'm like, why does he just say Peter?
Yeah, and
I
then
don't know why he was so secretive about
and then he called himself Ned when he met Bruce, which is funny.
Did he say Ned?
Like, I'm Ned?
Oh, he said Ned there. That's right. Okay. Yeah, there was some funny stuff in the movie. Like, there was one point where who was talking to him, but they were talking about Mysterio and Mysterio Spider-Man porn, like an AI porn. Like that. Yeah, and then they're referencing it. They're like, you know, with 10 Mysterios and that one Spider-Man. He's like, I've seen it, and I just thought that was
like,
funny
oh,
because he's like, I have seen it. Yeah, like I have seen that. I thought that was funny. Yeah. And then the other part that was really funny when he wakes up from his cocoon and then goes in the bottom of the building where the laundry's at, and he grabs those clothes. Yeah. And then it clips to him, the elevator open, and
is that my shirt?
Yeah, he's wearing the girl clothes, and it's hilarious. And he's like, no, that's not your shirt. And then walks out, and it's like one of those like
juicy
sweat. Yeah, juicy on the back or some shit. Yeah. That was hilarious. I was the only one laughing. I mean, me and the person I was with, I think we're the only ones laughing at the theater. There was like 40 people there, and I don't know why people weren't laughing at that.
Yeah,
it was fucking hilarious.
It was funny. I think there was a lot of funny moments, and it was a perfect balance because that's what you want. You want an emotional roller coaster. You want to cry in some parts, and you want to laugh in other parts. That's what brings you on the ride of going to the cinema. You know, like they did a good job at it.
Like his jizzy web shooters he developed.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think about his, his evolution as
transformation?
Yeah, as a spider.
I think because there's a couple different directions it can go in. Like, I think there's some storylines where he like evolves a little bit, and he just has more spider-like powers, and that seems more the directions it's going into rather than the other one where he turns into like a 6-armed arachnid Spider-Man, which is sick because I think it has black eyes with that. So I don't know if they're gonna do something with that, or maybe I don't know. It could be cool if they do that in some storyline, but I didn't hate it. It was interesting that he, especially after the predecessing film had Tobey Maguire and how they referenced how he just makes his own webs from inside of himself, and then in this film, Tom Holland's Spider-Man starts doing that. He has to cut slits in his wrists.
Yeah,
not to kill himself, but so that his webs can get out of his.
Yeah, and
his
it's
suit.
cool that he met Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because he's like, yeah, that other whatever he said. He's like, Spider-Man, whatever. He called him something, and he's like, he did it. So like, yeah, I mean, it's not that weird, but it's weird, Like he's like, I've seen it before, but this is weird,
Yeah, then like when he squeezes him out of his, I was like, and he's like,
I loved when he was. I love how the only way he could use him was by being like, all right. On, okay, off. All right, web on.
Is that what he was saying? Because I couldn't tell.
He couldn't stop it without saying, "All right, stop. All right, web go. All right, web stop. All right, web go." Like it's so funny.
Because that's okay. Because when he was flying MJ home, he was doing that, and I didn't know what he was saying. I was like, "What the fuck?"
He tried to do it with just thinking, and then he realized he could only do it by telling himself out loud, which I thought was good.
Another silly thing in the film was like the ninjas as government security.
Yeah.
like, and they got to wear their masks, which I know they were just wanted to take the mask off for security measures. But like, you should have. It was kind of cool because something seemed up with using ninjas for security because that's preposterous and like full ninja garb. And then like, where was his spider sense on that? Maybe was he going through his changes a little premature there because it seemed hella suspicious.
I don't think there was really any suspicion if you think about it. Yeah, it's weird, but it's the Department of Damage Control. They're over there testing the Shocker's thing, glove, and they're over there testing other alien stuff. And I don't know. I think that it's just the connotation of what that department is. But obviously, I think I think the best thing about it was they really made you think by the trailer that the Hand was one of his major villains in this movie. And everyone was talking about it. Like, oh, he's going to be fighting the Hand. It's in 2 different scenes. Like, this is going to be like a big plot point. And it was like so not the case. Like, they were just there to look cool. And it's funny because at one point he even said like, oh, damn, that looks so cool. Like when he's fighting him. Which I was like, word, that is true. It does look cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It just made sense though with the ninjas being there because they're still working for the bad guys.
Right. Right, exactly.
And I just thought with the security technology, the scanners couldn't identify the person under the suit. Like they're like identifying characteristics of the body as physique, as characteristics, and I don't know. I just felt like some of the tech they have, they could show what's under the mask, maybe, but maybe he has some tech in his own mask. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I do. Have you ever seen Daredevil, the Netflix series?
I tried watching the first season. I know they just dropped some new shit, but it was a little dry for me.
Okay.
Which I'm surprised. Like, I was more, not dry, just like disinterested, I guess.
Yeah, because between Daredevil and then Iron Fist, the Hand played a huge role in being villains in that universe. So that's, I think, why it was cool that they didn't really feel the need to completely intro them because we've already seen them if you've watched that, but at the same time, you didn't have to have watched it to kind of get what was going on. It's like, okay, there's this group of ninjas called the Hand and whatever. But in those shows, they fleshed that whole thing out in depth, and it's actually pretty cool. The entire storyline. It's been a while since I've watched the original Daredevil series, but and Iron Fist I only watched once because it wasn't good. But Daredevil was really phenomenal, so it was cool to see that carry over and see how it was used in this form because there's a lot of carryover between the Netflix series and this movie specifically, right? Like Punisher is a perfect example. Punisher started as a Netflix series, and that's where he came into fruition into this universe. And so
I seen that. That was cool.
Yeah,
it wasn't amazing, but it was cool.
Did you watch the short film they did, the Punisher one? On Disney Plus, it came out like a couple months ago. Okay,
did it tie into this?
Not really. It was just like a weird little short film, probably like 40 minutes long, 45 minutes long. But it was just like kind of going into the mind of Frank Castle, and he murders a bunch of people. It's rated R, and he just murks a ton of people, and it's kind of fun.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I'll fuck with that. Shout out to Jean Grey. She's like, this dude's got problems. She controls it. Yeah. She even helped Spider-Man level up. Like, fucks with her.
Yeah.
Love that. And he helps, comfort her and like help her level up too. It was like it's some mutual leveling up there.
Big time.
One thing that I just thought was unusual was after the second fight with Scorpion, when he's being possessed or mind controlled by Jean Grey, the cop, I forget her name, she rolls up and she starts being like, Spider-Man, you keep this up, you're not going to be able to work with us anymore, da 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 da. And I just thought, this guy's done so much cleaning up of the streets for you, and you're so ungrateful. He got a little churned up this one time, and you're already trying to cut him off. He's doing your job day in, day out.
Yeah, and it's not like there's not collateral damage when police officers get involved with stuff, right? It's like, come on, how many times has a police officer like driven someone off the road when they were in a car chase and hurt somebody? Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, cops haven't hurt other cops by accident when they're fighting.
Yeah, like He had a perfect track record. He just a little churned this one time. She's like, dude, like pull it together. I was like, how dare she? Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, this movie just does so many things good. It's almost overwhelming to do a podcast on it after I've watched it today. Not because I didn't comprehend everything. It's just really wild how many things it did well. And it was, from the very beginning, it set the tone as to what you were expecting when it comes to the emotions of of the movie, but then also when it comes to the storyline. And it just brings you on this journey, man. It's like really intense. I don't think I've been that emotional in a movie in a long time. And I don't know if again, it's because what's going on in my life, but
that's like I've talked about that. Depending on what's going on in your life, sometimes movies hit different. But I will say I got like when things are really cool and it feels special, I'll get choked up and like my eyes were getting a little watery. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy, but it's just like, oh man, that's so cool. Like especially towards the end, there was some emotional shit going on. Happening.
Yeah. And I thought the stuff with MJ hit. Like I did think it actually hit, bro.
Dude, like when Jean Grey has control over her and then flips it on him. Like I didn't see that coming. And then like he just plays with his emotions and he's like, oh fuck, I thought that I had her back and now I don't.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
You're evil. He's so pissed because he's like, that's so evil. And it goes and it develops Jean Grey as a villain too, because you're like, oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's so fucked up. Like she didn't give a fuck. And then in talking with that, I think this film did such a good job with an organic way to reintroduce Peter back with his friends, like every step of the way. Like nothing seemed forced. Everything was a natural progression. And it's just like you're redeveloping with the same characters. It was cool to see on screen. They did such a good job.
Because they took their time with everything in this movie. They took their time. They took their time with Payne. They took their time developing the new relationship that he was going to build with them. It wasn't something that was, it wasn't something that was weird at all. I think there was only one plot hole that I noticed in the movie. It was when Jean Grey was in his apartment and he chooses to go try to race her to MJ rather than just going up to his apartment. Like, she's in there. You know she's in there. Just go to your apartment.
At the time, though, he didn't know how powerful Jean Grey was.
Like, sure, but at the same time, like,
if he rushes to his apartment, then she's not there, and then MJ's staying put. He can find MJ easier. If the villain at the time, he doesn't know who it is, she can leave his apartment maybe before he gets there.
If I'm not mistaken, he was right downstairs from his apartment, was he not?
I can't vividly recall.
Yeah, I couldn't remember even at the moment. I was like, where is he right now? Is he right below his apartment? I thought he was. And I'm just thinking like, I don't know, I guess my mind would be fly up there and knock her out, dude. Like, you know she's the one that's doing this. Like, just go knock her out. You know, she can't control your mind, so you know where she's at. Like, go get her, dude.
Go get her,
like,
dude.
what the fuck?
No, I think because what I said is accurate. Where logically you'd go to where you know you can find somebody versus try to chase somebody, which would then put the person that they're trying to attack in more peril.
It really depends on if he was right at his apartment or not. If he wasn't, then sure. If he was at his apartment, I think it's ridiculous. Like, the first thing you do is shoot yourself up there and grab that bitch and knock her out or something, you know? Like, but I don't know where he was. So.
Yeah, it's a one watch, people. But I think we're doing an okay job. I mean, did you know with like she could only, when he was tracking her jump distances, it was only 33 feet. Did you find that as an interesting number to use?
I don't think so. Why?
Well, like numerology, well, there's a correlation to Jesus being 33 was the age at which they thought he deceased at. Mm-hmm. And then it's the highest honorary degree of a Freemason is 33. Mm.
Interesting.
And the number 33 frequently is symbolized as divine promise fulfillment and God keeping his word. So, I mean, you can look at it like a dark or a positive light, but 33 is a
special number. Three, it's a magic number. You know what that is?
No.
Okay, never mind. Look it up.
That's fine. You talk about taking time in the film to tell the story, like the VMAX thing. I was like, originally was like, are they doing a shout out to Stranger Things to Max because she plays Max in Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Obviously not, but I was just being funny. And then it was like the unveil was the last thing that her sister saw. I was like, that was cool.
So cool, dude. I loved it, and it made sense because she kept not finding it, not finding it, not finding it. She thought that was a sign as to where she was gonna find her sister, but come to find out that's the last thing her sister saw, which is just intense.
Yeah, it's emotional again. And it was cool because Peter was like, what's a VMAX? And like the guy that's the Department of Damage Control or whatever, he's like, I have no idea. And you thought he was kind of lying, but he like had no idea, which is funny.
Yeah, you could tell he was bad from the beginning. I don't know if
something was off.
Like you could tell
I knew
something
was weird. Yeah, it was
and the other thing is I don't know why Peter Parker didn't sit down and ask more questions when he first met with him. Like I think he went there to like obviously ask about VMAX and whatever. But I do feel like he could have asked more questions based off of where he was at in that time frame in the movie and what he was trying to figure out. He was just kind of like, okay, we'll be in touch. I'll see you later. Like, what? Like,
well, he's still young and naive. He's going through some changes and shit. You know what I mean? He's like, fuck, gotta go. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, I'm impressed with how they used the Punisher in this. Frank Castle's role was that side character that is a main character, and he's had a lot of screen time recently. He was in
Odyssey?
No, I mean in Marvel specifically as Frank Castle. He was in the new Daredevil series, Born Again, 1 and 2, and obviously he had that short film. So clearly they're trying to make him a bigger centerpiece of this universe right now, which I do like. I hope he's in Doomsday, even though he doesn't belong there. But that was what made it so fun. He didn't belong in that fight with the Hulk at all, but that fight was so fun because he was there. It was like, dude, this is epic. Frank's just like shooting him with a fucking 7.62, like, 50 cal, whatever,
The AR swag and the pistols. When Spider-Man jumps over the Hulk while he's dragging the Punisher, and the Punisher's looking out from the ground with the fucking double pistols. I was like, bro,
sick. Yeah,
that clip was so dope.
Yeah,
I was like, this is fucking sick. That whole sequence with and I forget about just today. I just started today, but like throughout the day, I've been thinking about the film, and you forget about that scene. I was forgetting about it because there were so many other things to consume and digest. Like I said, it's
overwhelming.
But I'm like, that part of the movie was so sick, and like rewatchability is going to be so exciting to get to that point every time because it's such a sick sequence. And he does the Hulk clap. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. Which was dope. And just that whole scene was great across the board. And there was storytelling elements like we talked about where it showed, again, one of the instances where Peter still exists in their minds.
Right.
Which at the time, watching the movie, I was like, trying to find plot holes and like, they don't make sense. You know what I mean? Right. But then by the end of the movie, you're like, it kind of all made sense.
Yeah.
Like,
they did a good job wrapping it all up for sure, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, like all the characters that were in it, I loved everyone that was in it. Nothing felt disruptive or forced. Everything was interwoven so eloquently, I'll say. And like we got Jean Grey, great, amazing. We got Tombstone, Scorpion, Punisher, who was great. I mean, everyone was great, to be clear. Everyone was fucking great. Time. We had the Hulk, the Black Widow. I loved her. Office is the Spa. I'm going to say it right here. She's way better for Black Widow. I'm just saying, like, she's, to me, more attractive. Now, I'm not saying obviously Scarlett Johansson is a smoke show. They're both smokes. But this girl's her attitude and demeanor is just she's such a baddie. I love it. And in the film that she just did with the Thunderbolts, she actually jumped off the building for the parachute scene, if I'm not mistaken, or they wouldn't let her. Let me double check that.
She jumped off, but it was only like a couple feet. It was like they had her on a wire and she jumped and then they caught her.
She's so fucking badass. I fuck with her so much. Yeah. She's so fucking hot. And her character, she's, I think, a great actress, and I think she did a great job in Thunderbolts. And I think she did good in the Black Widow movie. I thought she was the standout actress in that.
I'm not a huge fan of Yelena, to be honest. I just think she's...
How dare you?
I just think she's too jokey all the time. Like
that's who she is.
Yeah, I get it. It's just a little bit too much.
It's a coping mechanism for her, though. Like from what, sure. Like that's what a lot of people that go through trauma act like. They just everything you got to make it a joke because life's too serious.
Yeah,
So I respect it.
I get that. I follow.
And she's like, she gets Spider-Man like in his skivvies with his just his hat or his mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shit was hella funny.
I think they did a wonderful job at spending the time on what it really felt like for Peter Parker to be alone for those 4 years and putting you in the mind of what that would feel like. And his cope of just, hey, I'm just going to work and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to focus on this. And that's what it's about. And just seeing his life change over that time frame. And then when he found out MJ had a boyfriend, it was so emotional. Him flipping through the city in the rain without his mask on, without his suit on, like he didn't give a fuck. And then that's when the change kicked in. I just thought that whole sequence was so well done. And it was so real. It's like who else wouldn't have felt that way, right?
It shows he's human.
He's so human, and
then ironically he becomes more arachnid.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I mean he loves this girl to death. He made the decision to keep her out of his life, which I think if you were to go back in time in this movie, he probably would regret to an extent, right? But it's so interesting him feeling that emotion of being like, wow, all this time I think humans do this in a lot of circumstances where you have thoughts and feelings in your mind about something that could potentially come to fruition and almost feels so real as if it is going to happen, but reality is not matching that. And there's a moment in time where you realize that you've been envisioning a future for yourself that you've taken no action on, right? And that you're not in control over. And when that moment comes, you get hit with that reality that the future that I envisioned for myself is not real. It's just a figment of my imagination. And I put myself here. It's a real feeling. It's a feeling of it's a terrible feeling that tears your heart apart. And I think that they just did such a good job at showing what that really looks like in cinema. You know what I mean? It was really well done.
I'm so glad you liked this film as much as I did.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what did you think I was going to say when you called me earlier today? Did you think I was going to like it, or did you think I was going to be overly critical?
I thought there's no way he doesn't like this. Good. There's no way. There's no way he's not going to like this. And if he doesn't, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm not as cynical as you think I am. I'm critical, but when people make good things, it's good. It's undeniable, and this is an undeniably good film, no questions asked.
Yeah. So what would you do if everyone you knew that you loved forgot who you were? Like Spider-Man.
I don't think I would have been able to refrain myself from going back and letting them know, like yourself or like T, right? I'd have to go back and be like, dude, we're best friends. I know you don't know me, dude. We're best friends, bro. Like, trust. I watch, I'll rip it off, and I just start ripping shit off that you do, And I'd be like, bro, you do a lot of mushrooms, dude, every Sunday, dude. Every Sunday you're crushing them, dude.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, so how do you think I would respond if, like, in this scenario, let's say, like, if you're trying to convince me that I was in your life and I just don't remember.
I think I know you well enough where you would at first probably be freaked out because I know you're jumpy. So you'd probably be like, you've been surveillancing me and you know all this stuff about me. Like, you have cameras in my house. Like, what the fuck? Like that would be your first instinct. Yeah. Like, who the fuck are you, man? But as soon as I, continued on, especially like, I think in this universe, it makes more sense because there are superheroes and there's supernatural things. So, and they know Spider-Man saved them. It just makes more sense in this universe that something like this could happen.
Yeah.
In our universe, it would be a lot weirder because you'd be like, dude, I've never seen anything weird at all. Like, yeah, Jesus resurrected from the dead, but that's in a book from 2,000 years ago. Like I don't believe you. You know what I mean? No,
that's fair. But I was, that's, It definitely made sense in the movie. It's just like kind of crazy to think like what you would. And again, this is like one of those emotional heartstrings they pull on. I think because of the empathy you can feel towards the Peter Parker character, where you're barred out of your own life, and like there's so many different options, I guess, that how you could maneuver, and like he's had opportunities where he wanted to tell them and just felt the love for them surpassed anything that he didn't want to endanger them in any form. So I get the righteous route that he chose, but I think I would have been more privy to what you're saying, where I would go and in whatever format I had to articulate, whether it's a letter or whatever I think would be most necessary to get their attention to believe me. I think I would definitely do that, and I think, yeah, it's a crazy thought, obviously,
Well,
but it's interesting.
It's funny too because it would be so interesting who you'd choose to tell that you had a relationship with and who you'd choose not to. You're like, oh fuck, I can actually get that person out of my life. Like, that's kind of nice. Like, I don't ever even have to talk to that person again. They don't even remember anything that I did. Like, I can just never talk to that person and they'll never remember me. Like, you know what I mean?
It's crazy because there's probably like 10 or less people I would tell.
Yeah, for real. It'd be like
it's probably like 5,
7 for me, maybe. Yeah, it'd be about 5 or 7. Yeah.
But no, it's light numbers, but yeah, very very cool concept, and it cleaned up all the mess from the predecessing film.
Yeah, and in such a good way. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't shortchanged. It's not like they all of a sudden were just like, dude, do you remember me? And they're like, oh, I do remember. Like, oh, and then you're just like, oh, okay, cool. No, like they spent their fucking time on it. I can't emphasize enough how much time was spent. And what was the runtime on this movie? 90 minutes? 100? Like, what was it?
1 hour. It says 145 minutes, give or take a minute or two.
Oh, so it was like decent.
2.5.
2.5 hours. Yeah, it felt like it. It felt long, and not in a bad way. The pacing was phenomenal. It just.
I didn't look at my clock. I can't remember the last time I didn't look at the clock. Even like on a good movie, like, and this is an example I'm going to use. Like even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I looked at my clock once or twice. And that movie is really great. And I think the reason it got, like, I think I gave it a 9.1, which is a little high. Like, because I actually think now I like the second one almost the best out of the trilogy, surprisingly.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think it's the respect of the trilogy. I like gave it a couple points. I mean, it's still high 8s, you know what I mean? But like,
it's not very rewatchable though. That's the problem. I won't go put that movie on, the third one. Like I'll go put the first or second on in a heartbeat, but the third one, it has that emotional aspect to it, but it's manufactured in that movie. It's, yeah, you feel for Rocket and you have those emotional moments, but you don't really care about the other characters that he's having emotional moments with. You just kind of care about the way he feels, where this one has so much more depth because these are all main characters. Between Peter Parker, MJ, Ned, Frank Castle, you know, the only new character here is Jean Grey, and that was the heaviest lifting they had to do when it came to introducing a character while also giving them a backstory and characterization. But for the main characters, you're invested in all of them. Because of the setup they've done in the previous movies, you're invested in all of them. And so you have so much depth to that emotional ride, you know?
But I think I can't say for sure, but I can speculate. And I think that you still could have similar ties to these characters. And that's why I was saying with the standalone aspect of this film, like you can tell, like with even just everything contained in this film, it all works. Like the Frank Castle thing, he's not the Punisher. He's got his skulls like on the van, which is cool. Like it's subtly there, and he on his flak jacket. But you can just tell they're not over explaining who the characters. You can tell they're like work associates, and they have like a complex relationship, and that's all. And that's it. You can tell there's a badass that's out here fucking shit up. And like a Hulk, like you know what the Hulk is, like, and if you don't, that's okay. But you can tell it's some dude that turns into this creature, and you know, and then like shout out to the ninjas. Like, I mean, you don't know what the ninjas per se, but like everything is just very. It explains everything within the film, and
yeah, it's self-contained for sure. But I can't imagine watching this without seeing the other ones. I don't feel like I would have enjoyed it as much by any means, but it still would be a good movie.
But I think you can still, there's so much still there to digest with the Jean Grey situation and the emotions and the character of Peter Parker, because it does spotlight Peter Parker with some subtext or sublight to Jean Grey, which is cool.
Yeah.
And with Frank Castle, like MJ, they do a good job really developing and expounding on these characters to make you feel something. It's fucking on point.
What blows my mind more than anything about all this is how the fuck have we gotten here? How the fuck have we gone the last fucking almost a decade at this point dealing with the fact that like movies have been so shitty with the MCU and they've had it the whole time. They've had the capacity to make good movies the whole time. It's like, it's not like this is where the whole superhero fatigue, this is what I opened with, right? Is superhero fatigue. People don't want to see superhero movies anymore. They phased out. People don't like them. It's like, no, dude. We love these characters. We love these stories. We just want you to make a good fucking movie. And you've had the capacity to do it. Look, you did it. It's not that fucking hard. Where's this been?
I'm sure this was hard. I'm sure this was
sure, but I'm saying, where has this been, right? Where has this been? We've gotten so much bullshit. I mean, even think about like some of the garbage we've gotten even outside the MCU. You want to talk about superhero fatigue? Yeah, if you make a fucking Aquaman 2, of course people are going to think it sucks. The movie is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't even finish the fucking thing. Yet, you want to blame it on the industry as a whole as superheroes are out and people don't care about it? It's like, no, dude, you just don't make good fucking films. It's not rocket science. You had it.
It's crazy to think, like, I think the budget for Ant-Man Quantumania,
It was almost $300 million, dude. They reshot a bunch of shit.
It says well over 300 million. I don't want to trust this source entirely.
No, that was not wrong. They reshot a bunch of shit. It was the development was a nightmare. And yeah, the whole thing was shot on a fucking green screen. It blows my mind.
It's like 350 million. This movie and Spider-Man brand new day.
200.
Is that right? 225.
Yeah.
These are like rough numbers, but that just goes to show you, like, you're spending $200 million. I mean, we've talked about this for years, you and I. It's like there's no with all this money thrown around, there's no reason to not make bangers every single fucking time. Like,
seriously.
it's hard
can
work.
You think about how much money they would have made, dude? How much money they lost over the last 10 years is insane, dude. It's been the biggest write-off in cinema history, I feel like, where they've just been burning through cash.
Warner Brothers too.
Yeah, of course. And it's just mind-boggling that this whole time, and you know what it is, dude? It's not just in these cinemas and not cinemas, production companies. It's in everything. Like a boxer will get to the top of the world, Conor McGregor, and then they'll get their head a little bit too big. They get overconfident and they start pulling back on the work and they think they got it and everything's all done because they got so much money. They're rolling in dough and they take their foot off the gas and then they fall apart, right? And it's the same concept with anything. It's just human nature. And so I get it, but it's just so stupid that they've had the capacity to make these good of films, and they would have had the box office numbers if they made movies like this the whole time. Ant-Man Quantumania, if it was this good of a film, would have made over billions and maybe over $2 billion at that point because the momentum they would have had. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Ant-Man might be a stretch, but like the first Ant-Man was cool. I mean, shout out to that movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a cool movie. I think I get like a 7 or some shit.
So, what do you think about Doomsday? Do you think Spider-Man's going to be in it? They said Spider-Man will return. They didn't say in Doomsday. He's not shown up in any of the trailers. Neither has the Hulk. So, it's interesting. We've seen Yelena in it. She's clearly in Doomsday, right? In multiple places. Where do you think this goes?
Well, I thought there was going to potentially be a Professor X cameo at the end.
He's not in the universe.
Shut up. It's the X-Men, you fucking turd. And yeah, so in the sequence they show with the app that he's off planet. Mm-hmm. And it alludes, it doesn't, you can't, it just says he will return. I don't think he's going to, I think there's a possibility he's not in Doomsday and he's in Secret Wars.
He'll definitely be in Secret Wars. He's a major part of Secret Wars in the comics. So he'll definitely be there. But yeah, he doesn't show up in Doomsday, and the Hulk is in a psychiatric ward, I guess. So maybe that's their explanation for him not being around.
And they go and like save a situation or something. I don't know how that story plays out, but like that could be cool. Like Spider-Man leads the charge and kind of like takes the helm of the MCU. Like I wouldn't hate that. And like Jean Grey, who the fuck knows? But it would be maybe good to keep her out of the successing films, just to keep it separate. But like I don't know what they're doing with the X-Men, like Gambit. if they bring him back. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know this story arc situation with Doomsday and Secret Wars. I know there was a storyline where Spider-Man has to pick fighting like a fighting team, and he like fights out in space. And I know he like picks Storm, and like I forget the storyline specifically, but I know there's some weird storyline where he's fighting out in space and he picks his team to like come out and restore order. I don't know if that's a Secret Wars storyline, if it's a different like smaller concept, but I don't really know. I'm just, after this film, I'm really satisfied. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with X-Men, and my expectation is going to be really reserved, and I just hope Doomsday is a cool movie. Because I have a feeling are going in a good direction with the other shit, and I just think end this phase of bullshit they've been doing, and let's just move on. And that's kind of where I'm at, and like hopefully these ones are cool, because that's the next 2 films for MCU. They're only dropping 1 next year. It's Secret Wars after Doomsday, so it's cool. And
one
I think
one movie a year is the way to go if you're doing a universe.
100%.
Like that's
100%.
easy to stay with. You can make quality. You don't have to do this bullshit. But I wouldn't be surprised if they gain momentum again and then they start doing the same bullshit again and money grabbing and making garbage. It's just the way of the world.
It's inevitable. I think 2 isn't terrible depending on what's going on. Like a year. I don't think that's the worst thing. It depends what's happening. Like the build up to certain plot lines, it could be cool. Like for instance, if they're leading into X-Men formation, right? Like if there's a Gambit movie and then an X-Men movie in the same year, like that's not terrible to me.
No,
like if it's leading to that. But yeah, if you're just doing a bunch of standalones, it can get a little saturated. But
I mean, yeah, I think Doomsday will be serviceable as well as Secret Wars. It's the Russo brothers. They know their task. They have to regain control over the MCU. I think they're going to kill off a lot of characters, and I really hope they do. I think the very best thing they could do is absolutely fucking murder everyone. And
keep them dead, please.
Keep them out. Come out with a fresh start. Recast a lot of people. Start fresh in a new universe. Carry over some characters. But, like you can carry over a character or an actor for a character, like a Jean Grey, for example, even if it's not in Earth 616, right? If it's a new Earth, we're starting fresh. All of those got destroyed in Secret Wars, and now a new universe comes out. You keep some of the same actors, Peter Parker, Frank Castle, whoever you want to keep as actors, but they're new characters in a way, right? I think you have to. And then murder a lot of them. Kill a lot of these people that we don't care about. Just that will cause a lot of... That will make Doctor Doom, and if the Russo brothers know anything, they know how to make your heroes lose in the first movie and have them win in the second one, right? That's probably what's going to happen in the same way they did Infinity War and Endgame.
But they should stay dead in the second one.
I really hope so. Or they come back to fight in Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is going to be a bunch of universes all fighting on the battle planet that Doom creates. That's what it is. That's what Secret Wars is. Doom creates a battle planet, and all of the universes like come together and battle each other, and all the superheroes, right? And so that will happen. But I hope at the end of that, it's like, okay, they're all fucking dead. We start fresh, and we have a new universe with some same familiar faces, some new faces, new Captain America, new, you know what I mean? And you get to start fresh. And I think that's the best route they could take. So I hope.
Yeah, just keep them dead for sure. And I think there's ways to, if you do want to keep certain characters, you can make it make sense, as long as you don't get if you do want to keep Gambit. If you don't, okay. I hope you have someone better. I want to give the man some time. I thought he did justice to what he had, this small role in the Deadpool and Wolverine. But I think you can make it make sense. You know what I mean? So do that if you want to, but just please move the fuck on.
They're gonna have to, bro. That's the only way they're gonna make it out of this. They have to delete a lot of the shit that we just don't care about. And I think this gives me hope that they know what they're doing, because this is the first movie. Deadpool and Wolverine, let's be real, it was a stunt, right? You do a bunch of cameos, you make it fun. Deadpool's hilarious. You bring back Wolverine. You're Hugh Jackman.
Introduce Gambit.
Gambit. You love sick. Gambit, dude. You love him.
Dude, Gambit's dope.
I know.
Gambit is so sick.
But yeah, you did a stunt to get people to like it. This wasn't a stunt. This movie was not a stunt. No. By any means whatsoever. It was just phenomenal from start to finish.
but I think they took notes on the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and it helped make this film what it is. In my opinion, there's things that occurred within that stunt, if you will, that allowed them to be like, oh, it opened their mind, I think, to how they can do things in subtle ways, you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Gambit. But who was your favorite character or cameo in the Spider-Man Brand New Day?
I mean, my favorite character was Peter Parker. I think is, it's so funny. What's his face? What's the actor's name again?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland gets so much shit for not being able to act in other things he's in. I just think it's like sometimes it's the Iron Man effect, the Robert Downey Jr. effect, where you're made for a character and that's who you are, and it's okay. You're gonna make your millions there. Just accept it and love it and be that person. And I think Robert Downey Jr. did that perfectly. He was like, I'm Iron Man, and fuck it, if I don't get cast for anything else ever again, who cares? I'm gonna enjoy while I'm here. Tom Holland should be the same way. Like, dude, you don't have to go and surprise somebody in some other movie and be an amazing, character actor. You could just own it, dude, because you're a great Spider-Man. It's phenomenal.
Hugh Jackman dealt with the same thing and accepted it. Because that for years, it was taboo to like this whole dynamic superheroes, whatever. But doing a role too long, and it's worked out for him. You could tell he accepted it after a point, but he resisted it for years. And I think, at this point, Tom Holland, he's been the best Spider-Man that we've got. Like this movie, I can say with confidence, like he's a sick Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's the best.
But before it was like there was aspects to Andrew Garfield that I liked in some of the films. I mean,
a lot of people did. I never really liked Tobey Maguire. Don't shoot me.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair.
But and Andrew Garfield was fun, but the movies weren't very good, and it takes away from his character. But I mean, the fact, there's no question now, Peter Parker is Tom Holland, and Tom Holland is Peter Parker, and own it, dude. It's phenomenal. But I also really like Shane from The Walking Dead. Like we get down, dude.
John Burnett. How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Is it Bernthal?
Yeah,
it's
Bernthal. But yeah, Frank Castle's a cool character.
Bernthal, yeah.
I'm not a huge fan, but he was really good in this movie. I really enjoyed him. I just thought his dynamic with Spider-Man was really fun, and he was a comedy relief, which is interesting because that's not his role. Like in the Daredevil movie or series. Sorry, in the Daredevil series, he was not fun at all. Like he's miserable, and seeing him just have a little light and Spider-Man brings that out of him is cool. So yeah, I think that was my synopsis.
Yeah, everyone seemed like very dynamic characters. They seemed like real fucking characters. I loved it, dude. It was fucking sick. There's one of those movies where I'm like, if for whatever reason people haven't seen it, and are fans of the MCU, is like, oh, you gotta check that one out. You know what I mean? Like if Deadpool and Wolverine comes up, I'll be like, oh, you gotta see that one. That was cool. Even though I think you did a great job describing it. It is stunty, but it's still a great movie. Especially with all the convolution that was going on in the MCU at the time. It did a lot of service.
Big time. Yeah, it did a lot of
what was happening.
Can you imagine how much more money that would have made if it wasn't surrounded by shit? I mean, and how much better it would have been. And it probably actually wouldn't even have been better. It probably would have been worse considering I think it was so good because of how much shit was around it. It was like, wow, finally we got a movie that wasn't absolute ass. But this movie just, no matter where you put it, you could have put it in the middle of if you put it in the middle of the Infinity Saga, I think it would be one of the best movies in that Infinity Saga. Top 3 at least.
Dude, this is the best MC movie today. Like,
I don't like to crown things too soon. You know how I am with that. So,
but like, what do
you've done it a couple times, and I've
what did I crown?
I don't remember specifically. I'm not
going to talk about Mandalorian and Grogu again.
Sure, but that's just one example where like you can get off a movie and have a high.
My ball.
You can get off a movie and have a high and make some wild claims, and I've done it before. Trust me, I've done it before. I've made some pretty wild claims walking.
Don't put me in the category with you.
Nonetheless,
I'm here. You're here. Nonetheless.
Okay. No, but I would say, yeah, from a one watch, from what I experienced, it's definitely one of the top 5 MCU movies of all time for sure. I will give it that. I just can't.
How dare you give it that crown?
What'd you say?
How dare you give it any type of crown?
Sorry.
How dare you knight it? How dare you knight this movie?
Sir Tom Holland.
So I want to talk about the ratings of Rotten Tomatoes specifically, and all those motherfuckers are in this conversation. IMDb, whatever, but IMDb is actually I'm usually more closer with them, and I think they're more realistic with the ratings. Rotten Tomatoes is a bunch of dick riding, but just to go with the ratings that they have, Into the Spider-Verse by critics is 97, Across the Spider-Verse 95. Spider-Man No Way Home 93, Spider-Man 2 Tobey Maguire 93, Spider-Man Homecoming 92, Spider-Man Far From Home 91, Spider-Man Brand New Day 90. And I just wanted to point that out where like, yeah, sometimes it's nice as a reference to look at some of these rating sites, but like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No.
Like, just to be clear, because they never reserve the right to crown something. And that's why I'm standing here and going to stand on business when you said you're crowning something too early. Like, I don't think I am, because I didn't give anything above a 7.2 with the predecessors. And you gave Spider-Man No Way Home. I'd like to see what that is.
I did that review with you?
You might have. And you gave it a much higher score.
I still would. I think No Way Home is a phenomenal movie. I really love it.
Yeah, but see, you crowned that movie too early.
I don't think so. I stand on what I think about that movie. I think that movie hasn't aged well for you, but I think it's aged well for me. I love that movie. I think it's really good.
What is it? Spider-Man? What is that one called?
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Let me see if I have this here real quick. I just want to check something. I can't check. But I think you said somewhere in the 8s. So
I would stand on that.
Okay.
Like, if you asked me what my ratings were for the other ones, I would say Homecoming would be an 8, like a straight 8 for me.
See, that's good. Okay. What
I would say Far From Home would be like a 6.9, 6.7 maybe.
7? Okay. We're right there in the same pocket.
6.7, yeah, 6.7.
No Way Home?
No Way Home, whatever I gave before 8, I would say probably 8.5, right?
Okay, and then Into the Spider-Verse? What would you give that?
I really liked Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that would probably be close to a 9.6. Like, it was a really good movie.
No, it's fair. It's a fair rating.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Across the Spider-Verse, I wouldn't give that high. I didn't really like that movie that much. I think it would probably be in the 6s somewhere.
I didn't review that one, but like I've seen it once. Flowing on mushrooms, hard body. Talk about confusion. I was like, "What?" There was like an Indian Spider-Man. I'm like, "Where the fuck are we right now?" It was a sick watch. I haven't watched it since. I'm gonna watch it again, but
yeah, I didn't like that movie that much, to be honest.
It was a sick
and then
watch.
This one for you want me to give my rating?
Hit the rating. I still want to talk about like one or two more things, but please do go ahead and.
I would give it a 9.7.
Okay, I'll fuck with that.
Like, I walked out thinking 9.9, and I just don't.
Damn!
I don't want to be
crowded.
I was like, so I just really good, dude. Really, really good.
Okay, so you're talking about crowning things. That you said 9.7.
Mm-hmm.
I will circle back. But I'm gonna hit it with a 9.3. But just for not, you're saying crowning. That is the highest rating you've given any Marvel movie on the show.
Guardians of the Galaxy, I haven't been on the show for. That's why it's a 10.
You did Volume 3.
Yeah, Volume 1 is a 10.
Okay.
Like, it's just
but if you have one,
Infinity War is a 9.9. So, like, I just haven't reviewed the movies that I would give that high of a score to. Like, what did I give Thor Ragnarok?
Preference.
Did I do Ragnarok with you?
Yes.
What did I give that?
I now write the guest scores, but I didn't
because that would be close to a 9.8, I think, for me.
Yeah, but these are preferences. But like, I would say fundamentally, this film is better than all the ones you listed.
Yeah, and I would say I don't like it as much as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, for example, or Infinity War. Fine. But that doesn't mean it's not in the same talks. It's fucking right there. It's just not. It's preference.
Yeah, and I still think there's room for improvement. That's why I think 9.3. Like, yeah, was it? it gets a lot of like shock value, not shock value score. It's just like I was very impressed, you know, and I had high expectations as well. But I think a 9.3 again. So my point when bringing up all the scores of Rotten Tomatoes, and same with like you sometimes, or your scores are consistent, you could say, but like there's no they ceiling themselves on so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're like, and they actually have this at the lowest scored Spider-Man
Out of
movie.
all of them, yeah.
Which is fucking
Insane.
remedial.
But it's still early on. Usually the ratings only go up as time goes on. That's one thing that you'll notice is as time goes on.
Yeah, people bandwagon.
Yeah.
People, but like for me, like, you know, Spider-Man No Way Home, 93. Like, okay. Spider-Man Homecoming, 92. Far From Home, 91. Like, suck my balls. Though you're saying this is this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's not even the same conversation. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? And this is what I'm saying. Like, and if I'm just gonna toot my own horn here, like this goes to show you that I know what the fuck I'm talking about because these other motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They fucking dick ride everything.
Yeah,
or they hate on everything.
Though,
it's
it
polarizing.
is skewed, and here's why.
What
There's
are
a
you
lot of paid reviewers that do this and get paid by Disney. It's part of the reason why they let certain movies tank, like, you know, Snow White, for example. They knew it was a tank. They let them write bad reviews so that they look unbiased. But then on every other movie, they're like, go write your 5 stars and rave. Paid shills. There's tons of them. So
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like, I'm aware of that.
if they go write their 5-star reviews, they get invites to all the you know, exclusive events and red carpets and.
Don't try to discount the fact that I'm accurate.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Can I toot in private? Can I toot my horn in private or what? You
This
fucking
is in public,
piece of This is in public? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is in public.
Wow. I'm gonna toot my horn wherever the fuck I feel like. Okay.
Toot your horn. Do it. I'll toot it with you.
It's been
Pause.
tooted. It's been tooted.
Tooted and booted.
Dude, hey. Okay, so we have our ratings, but what I want to talk about is there any convolution? Actually, I'm gonna go over who's part of the film real quick before I forget to do that this time. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Great job, guys. And obviously based off Stan Lee's shit and Steve Ditko. Produced by Kevin Feige, Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal on some shit. Like, she's on a lot of stuff. She does a good job, I'm pretty sure. Avi Arad, Rachel O'Connor, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, John Bernthal, Florence Pugh, Tremel Tillman, Marissa Tomei, and Mark. I say Ruffalo.
It is Ruffalo.
Okay. Cinematography, Brett Pollock. Good job. Edited by Nat Sanders, Gina Sansom, Harry Yoon. Music by Michael Giacchino. Shout out to Sony distributing this alongside Marvel Studios in Colombia. Runtime 145 minutes. Budget of $225 million. Currently, it did 73 million, I think, yesterday. Which is like absurd. Dude, okay.
Fucking crazy.
We were talking about how you live in LA, I live in Maine, and so naturally the movie going experience, especially for new releases, it's much more quiet. Like, there was no one sitting next to me and my friend at the theater. I could see someone in the front, like a row in front of me, and then like everyone behind us, because we were sitting in recliners. It was one of those like what's the expression? Dine, just watch and dine movies, theaters, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. But even in the rural place that I'm at 11:30 a.m. showing, there was, I don't know, 40, 50 people, which is like way more than it ever does for like a Friday morning, you know what I mean? And they had 2 theaters open. Like, the theater was, the theater is busiest I've seen it in years. And I think that's great, honestly.
100%. Yeah. And I couldn't find a ticket to save my life. I looked everywhere. I didn't even watch it in IMAX, which is rare for me, but that's because I was trying to get in early. I mean, damn, dude, like that movie theater was packed full to the brim.
Was it packed in LA?
To the brim at 9:30 in the morning on a Friday.
Oh, you went to 9:30?
On a Friday, packed to the brim. And that wasn't the only theater showing it, because I looked at all the other ones, and that wasn't the only theater or like, you know,
Movie theater.
like, you know, whatever screen. it was packed. I mean, that place was like a Friday night, and it was Friday morning. Crazy.
And why do you think that was? Why do you think it's got such a big turnout?
I think first and foremost, time. We've had a long time since we've had another Marvel movie. There's a build up there. Spider-Man is the biggest household name in all of Marvel, right? So that goes for it. I think the trailer looked really good, and I think there's the anticipation of a big Avengers film coming where like this sits in a very good spot. I mean, if you think about it, like even when Infinity War came, like Captain Marvel made $1 billion because of where it sat. Right?
Did it?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like that movie would have never made $1 billion if it launched, 3 years ago. It would have made, 300 million, if that. But
the sequel, it did over $1 billion. Good call. Yeah, but then the successor of that film did fucking ass cheeks.
Like 250 million. They lost so much money. So yeah, I mean, it's where it's placed plays a big role, I think. But man, I think we're just hungry for good movies, and. I think there was good movie written all over this. Sometimes the marketing just does its job, and I think it did this time.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt having X-Men a part of this movie. It makes me happy that my two favorite and what I think fundamentally are I'd say my two favorite of the MCU has X-Men characters like featured in it, and have been some of the most successful films is by no coincidence. Like I just think they're putting a lot of respect into X-Men. They're finally getting the representation they've needed for years. Like I said, I'm super excited to see what they do moving forward. And the one thing I want to talk about that I had questions with just the convolution with Jean Grey being in the character because of all the timelines. There's the Fox X-Men, which then had Hugh Jackman a part of Deadpool, which is a part of this universe as well, or not?
Deadpool is part of that universe.
Okay, so then...
Or even a variation of that one, but it's not Earth 616.
Okay, so then there's no convolution with Jean Grey being in this and existing in any form.
No, because in Earth 616, there hasn't been... There's been mentions of mutants over the last like 6 or 7 movies, right? And it started when they started getting the rights to Fox, right? Because that was when they started saying, hey. So nonetheless, Deadpool was produced by Fox originally, and then once the rights got switched over to Disney, and they purchased Fox, that's when they started making that. That's when they made Deadpool and Wolverine. But the universe that Deadpool lived in was still in the Fox universe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know that Deadpool is owned by Fox. I guess trying to clear the air for myself and others. And then, because then they had Kelsey Grammer's Beast in the Marvels show. What the fuck is that about?
Well, she went to a different universe.
Did she? Because I didn't watch it. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, she at the end she got teleported into Monica Rambeau. She got teleported into a different universe, and that's when the Beast was there. So she got teleported into the Fox universe. Still no explanation of what that's going to end up like. They just left it on a cliffhanger. But
okay, so the other convolution potentially, I guess, is like, okay, in Doomsday we got Fox's universe intermingling with this current,
right? Because there's a convergence going on. So the convergence is when the 3 Earths are coming together, and that convergence, is that what it's called? I think it's what it's called. Nonetheless, that's happening. I'm missing the word. It's like not insurgence, not convergence. It's something around that realm. Nonetheless, that's happening.
Convergence is right. It's coming together, joining.
Yeah, but that's not the word that's being used, so I'm missing it. But nonetheless, nonetheless, this is happening because nonetheless, they explained it in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that these events occur, and they also explained it in Loki's series because when there's too much intermingling between universes and people are jumping from universe to universe, it causes these events to happen where it destroys all the universes because they end up colliding, right? So that's what's happening, is that they're all colliding. If you notice in the Doomsday trailer, there's like this yellow light kind of in every scene. It's because you can actually see the other Earths in the atmosphere. So you're like, they're all coming together.
Oh, that's a cool like workaround, I think. So, all right, so that makes sense. There's no really convolution to having Jean Grey in this motherfucker.
She's just a different Jean Grey from this universe.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why,
'cause
like
they
I said,
haven't
there's no Professor X in this universe. I genuinely don't think there is.
There will be.
I
There
think
has to
I
be.
genuinely think there won't be. I genuinely think that in this universe there hasn't been X-Men, there hasn't been mutants, and Jean Grey's so young, and I think they made that decision on purpose because the X-Men haven't been around for all this time. It's like in this universe they haven't lived in the same time frame as in the Fox universe. There was like it was all happening previously, as opposed to this one. It just hasn't existed. That's why, like, even what's his name, Quicksilver and Black, what's his sister's name, Quicksilver in the MCU, and Scarlet Witch. They're supposed to be mutants from the comics, but they veered away from that because they didn't have the rights at the time. So they explained it as enhanced individuals, and so now they're like retroactive, adding in the mutants, but they're not making it completely retroactive. They're just saying now mutants are showing up, and this is starting to be mutations that are happening now. So I don't think there's a Professor X in this universe, and that's fine because there's Professor X in two other ones.
There will be. Like bro, it's the X-Men.
There is no X-Men. There's not been one single reference of an X-Men in
There will be.
the MCU.
That's like saying like.
Well, not in the
trust.
MCU.
There
Sorry,
will be
in
there will,
Earth 616.
Just wait on it. Like they don't have Professor X. That's wild. It just wouldn't make
Well,
sense.
they
but
will,
okay.
like you said, there will be, but it's going to be after Secret Wars. That's my point.
Oh no shit. Yeah. Oh, that's your point. Yeah.
My point is
not
that
what you-
there's going to be a restructuring of this world. It's not going to be Earth 616 when it moves forward because Earth 616 is going to get destroyed. That's my point. And once it gets destroyed, there's going to be a new timeline that's created, and that new timeline that's created, there probably will be a Professor X in the mutants. Of course, that's where they're going to go with this, but it's not going to be Earth 616.
Okay, but Professor X he'll be in that shit at some point. Is my point.
Yes.
But is there anything else you want to say about the film?
I think we've hit it all. And I mean, I think we could go on and on. Maybe we do a round two after we redo or rewatch or something like that. But yeah.
Well, why don't we talk about Doomsday? Like, we'll just plan on doing a review for Doomsday.
Sounds good.
And we can talk about more shit because we'll know more at that point, and we'll review that. That's week before Christmas. That'll be fun.
Sounds like a plan.
Go check out John Smith's website. All his links, I'll have them in the description unless you want to say anything else regarding plugs.
The only plug I want to make is I have created a social media platform for music. It is called Songcry. If you're an artist and you make music and you're here, go check it out. Go download it. Apply to be one of our beta users. It's called Songcry, Songcry. You can look it up on the App Store. Go check it out if you're an artist. We haven't launched it to fans yet, but you can, if you're a fan, go get on the waiting list. So go check it out. It's there.
Yeah, and I just want to give big ups to you for developing this app because you developed the app before everyone was making apps with AI.
Correct.
Like, so this isn't like, oh, I just made an app. This is a real cutting edge, amazing application that is going to be, in my opinion, it could change how people consume music. So definitely give an opportunity to go check it out. And it's not one of those, like I said, AI just, and there's no diss to people developing apps with AI. I'm just saying this has a lot more effort involved in it, a lot of money that you've invested and have had real people develop it with alongside you to bring your image or your vision to fruition. So big ups to you on that. It's an amazing app, and I'll have that information in the description as well.
Cool.
And yeah, so Spider-Man Brand New Day, we got John Smith hitting it with a 9.7, and then your host hitting it with a 9.3. That's gonna do it over here at the Movie Rant Break. I love y'all. I will check you next episode. Later.